Hey everyone, we've got awesome April Williams in the house today. And April struggled to find her happy, healthy weight for decades. Then one day, when she was having a conversation with a friend who inspired her to take control of her life. You know what, folks? We all need an epic moment like that to take control of our lives, right? I know I did. Now, April took control of her life, her relationships with food, and her future, and has since lost 120 pounds. Now, hold on. Since April began her journey, she has co-founded a bariatric education resource company called the Bari Nation. And she is on a mission to remove the associations of shame and disgrace and destigmatize. Destigmatize. You know what? I always have a problem with that word. Anyways.
It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, yeah. But hey, what you're doing is awesome, April, because so many people out there who are thinking about bariatric surgery or who have had it, they go through these things. Because a lot of people out there are not really supportive of it. And I think it's because they really don't understand it. And bariatric surgery today is much different than it was 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And so when somebody says, I had bariatric surgery, we don't need to be getting the stinky eye back.
No.
Because it is not an easy process. It is not the silver bullet.
No.
Right?
I hear all the time from people in our community, like, oh, you took the easy way out, or, oh, you cheated, or, well, you're not doing it naturally, so it like doesn't count, or it's not as valid. Yeah. And it's just the most ridiculous thing that I have ever heard in my entire life. And we know weight loss surgery complications happen, you know, more often than any surgeon or doctor would like. But the chances of having a serious complication after bariatric surgery is minuscule compared to the complications that you are guaranteed to experience if you continue to live your life at an obese weight. It just is. That cost-benefit analysis is never going to work out. And, you know, the stigma's there. And yes, it is a real big, huge surgery, life-altering. But I mean, the future that I was looking at was an early death and a demise that was not going to be comfortable. And when I finally had that aha moment with my friend, it was almost like a no-brainer at that point. I mean, I was really inching my way towards diabetes, extremely high cholesterol. I was looking at heart issues. I was looking at, you know, just all of these horrible things, not to mention limited mobility and, you know, all of these, you know, not so pleasant things. So when I had that conversation with her, I just thought, okay, this is it. Because I tried everything. I had tried absolutely everything with Fidelity. Yeah. Well, and you know, folks, it's not the silver bullet. Okay. Ooh. It's a tool. That's the way I look at it. I had a great conversation with Kedrick the other day, and my goodness, you know, there's some amazing testimonies out there of people who've gone through bariatric surgery. And like you said, April, the alternative was what? Die with diabetes and die with complications otherwise, right? You're not having a quality life. No.
Now, the thing though is, bariatric surgery might not be for everyone. And all the people that are watching this right now, most of you probably won't get that. Mm-hmm. But there are people who I think should consider it. Mm-hmm. Because the alternative is early death, right? Mm-hmm. But again, it's a tool, because once your metabolism is reset and you get back to ground zero, as I call it, guess what? Battle of the bulge continues. It doesn't stop, right?
No.
And so your topic, cant is a cop-out, is super intriguing, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know more about that.
Yeah. You know, as you know, Daryl, you reach kind of this, you know, new low weight, what we call our happy, healthy weight. It's the weight that we don't mind working every day to maintain. Mm-hmm. And, you know, those old habits, your old mindset, you know, really your life returns to normal after a certain amount of time. And you realize, oh my gosh, okay, the surgery helped me get to this low weight. But really, nothing else has changed. My relationship with food hasn't changed. How I use food, my mindset, my emotions. Life continues to happen. So it's not like you have bariatric surgery and then everything is rainbows and unicorns. It's not the case at all. And there's this period of time that, many bariatric patients refer to as the honeymoon. And it's where everything just seems to be going great, right? Things are falling into place. Things in life don't seem to be bothering you as much, just everything just kind of seems like, oh, I got this, right? And then you get to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't got this. My weight has stabilized. Those old, stories, those old thoughts, those old habits, those old cravings are coming back. And you really panic because you realize, oh my gosh, I thought I had the tool that I needed, but it wasn't the only tool that I needed. Yeah. And what has been such a powerful revelation for me in my life when it came to bariatric surgery, it's like, I really did think this was it. This was the tool that I needed. I had everything else to build my house except, the hammer, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I got to the low weight and I was feeling really great. And then I realized, oh my God, it's never been my weight. But the power of bariatric surgery is it finally gives you the end of that question.
Yeah.
Because if you have done everything else there is to do, then the only work that remains after bariatric surgery is that mindset work.
Yeah.
Right. It is
absolutely.
That deep self work and really, really getting to the core question of who am I? What do I value? What is my life all about? What is my purpose? These big questions that have kind of been eluding us because we could always blame everything on the weight.
Yeah.
Well, now that the weight's gone, you are truly out of excuses.
Yeah.
And if you want to finally get to the answers of your life, here you go. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And I would have never gotten here without bariatric surgery. So in many ways, it was the tool, right?
Yeah.
So, I arrived at this low weight. I realized, oh my gosh, all of these like old habits and mindsets and all of these things that had been tripping me up before bariatric surgery presented themselves again. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. Like, I cannot believe this. But I've gotten to the point in my journey where I'm committed to living my life as a bariatric patient. And what that means for me and for many of us, in the Bari Nation community is that I'm going to consistently make choices that align to my bariatric life, which means I'm going to do this mindset work.
Mm-hmm.
And on the treadmill, I've got a Peloton bike and a Peloton treadmill. And, I was watching the classes and the instructor was talking about how we use the word can't as this excuse to not do something. And eventually they said something like can't is a cop-out. And it literally stopped me in my tracks. And I just thought, okay, wait a minute. You have one of those moments and you're just like, something about this does not seem right, but something seems absolutely correct. And the more and more I started thinking about it, it really helped me bring in all of this learning that I had done from other people and places and books and podcasts. It's like everything all of a sudden was like, oh, bing, it fit. The puzzle fit all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so true. Can't is a cop-out. Can't is a way for us to continue to kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
Because we can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So for me, it was saying like, well, I just, I've always wanted to be a runner. Right. But I just kept saying to myself, well, you can't run. Like, you can't slog your body down the road. You can't do any of that. And I just thought, oh my God, I absolutely can't. Sure. I can't run a marathon now. I can't even run a mile now. But what can I do that will get me to that eventual goal?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, I can run on my treadmill more times a week than not. I can go for 5 extra seconds jogging every time I'm on the treadmill. I can go from jogging at 4.0 to 4.1. Yeah. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my God. I was saying, well, you can't do that as this blanket statement. And it's like, well, of course I can't go run a marathon right now. I'm not
and maybe it's as simple as starting to walk. I mean, that's where I was, right? I mean, my goodness, at my weight, going for a walk. No, I can't do that. Well, how much are you walking now? Well, I don't know. Well, I got myself, one of those, whatever you call. Yeah. Anyways, it tracks your walking. Yeah. And so my nutritionist says, well, can you walk an extra 50 steps that you didn't walk yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. Baby steps.
Yes.
Baby steps. It took a while. Tell me, it took a while. But after a while, you start looking forward to it. Yeah. Things change, which is really, really great. But, you know, as a coach, and I talk to people who want to lose weight all the time, and that's not just my focus, because, you know, weight is one thing. It's 90% here.
It is.
But everybody always has this, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this. And yes, I understand everybody's different. Mm-hmm. But let's stop using that word, I can't.
Yeah, it's limiting.
Yeah, you might not be able to do that, like run a marathon today, but what can you do? Well, I can take it 5 extra steps today that I couldn't do yesterday. Well, hey, start somewhere.
Yeah. The word can't keeps your brain and your thoughts and those stories in this cycle of hopelessness.
Right.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
And when we switch that mindset, when we switch that word, or when we just extend the sentence, instead of saying I can't, period, if we say I can't, comma, but I could, or I can, all of a sudden it's hopeful. All of a sudden it's, oh, there is a possibility of me doing something so small towards that goal that maybe I could eventually get there one day. Yeah. And the power of just doing that one little thing is what turns on the hope. And if we have hope in our lives, we have the ability to go anywhere that we want to go.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we stay stuck in that old mindset, in that old cycle of, well, I can't do this and I'm never going to be successful and I'm always a failure, right? Our brains are wired to win. Mm-hmm. And if we're telling ourselves, well, I can't do that, our brain is going to say, no, you're wired to win. So let's look for all of the examples where you prove to yourself you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So we stay stuck in this loop, and our brains are going to only look for the things that we can't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, oh my God, we have to break out of that. We have to make that period of comment. And we have to say, okay, if my goal is to run a marathon, I can't do that today, comma, but I can do all of these little things and just one at a time that will lead me to that bigger goal. Yeah. So many times in our lives when it comes to goal setting, we set these huge monumental goals and we never think about all of the things that we're going to have to do to get there.
Yeah.
We just think of the goal. Well, then as soon as we have our first little failure, we think, oh, that goal's not attainable.
Yeah.
That's absolutely not true.
Do you think that people who have been in this journey for a very long time kind of suffer from tunnel vision in terms of what they think they can do? They only see this when all of this is available to them.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of tunnel vision, and I also think it's a combination of this all or nothing mindset thinking, right? That really kind of goes into the the cant is a cop-out. You know, I didn't know bariatric surgery was an option for me because I was watching shows like My 600-Pound Life, which I used to really enjoy, and now I can't stomach it because it made me believe as a human that bariatric surgery was only available to me if I was 600 pounds or more.
Right.
And I wasn't. I was 326 pounds. And I had some friends that were a similar size and shape to me. And we were all on the struggle bus. We were doing every diet. We were doing every exercise, fat, everything that we could do, to find that happy, healthy weight. We did because we thought that bariatric surgery was only for people who were, 600 pounds or more. And when I had that conversation with my friend, she was looking fabulous on her social media. And I reached out to her and was like, girl, what are you doing? Because I need to do that too. And she said, oh, I had bariatric surgery. And I was like, sorry, what? No. Weight loss surgery is not for people our size. And she's like, oh, girlfriend, it is absolutely for people our size. And that is a conversation that really got me there because I was like, oh my God. And she and I were the same size. We wore the same clothes. We were super active. We ate the same foods. And when she said she had bariatric surgery, I was like, game changer. So I guess in a lot of ways, that tunnel vision for me was, diet culture telling me that it was my fault, that I was a bad person and that I couldn't get, my stuff together and that there was something wrong with me, but they had the magic thing that was going to do it for me because I was such a horrible person.
Yeah.
Right. So then all of a sudden when that circle got wider and I could look outside of diet culture and look at the medical tools that have been available to me forever to help me find this happy, healthy weight, it was just a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when it comes to bariatric surgery, we don't give our uncle our Uncle Ron a bad time for getting his knee replaced, right? Or our Aunt Sally for taking insulin for diabetes. They have access medical tools to live their lives in a healthy way. But yet bariatric patients are stigmatized and made fun of because we've accessed a medical tool to live at a healthy weight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the hypocrisy is just mind blowing, especially when you realize that everybody who's had a medical tool is working hard. Our loved ones that have had, that are bionic, they work their butts off to get back to the place where they could use their new knee. But we're there encouraging them. Oh, here's all the resources you need. Here's physical therapy. Here's this, here's that. But yet for a bariatric patient, here's a binder. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, it's like, it's just so disheartening because in the medical community, obesity is still stigmatized in a way where you feel like you're the bad person. And that's just not simply the case, right? Everybody needs help along their journey. And especially when you have taken on a medical tool and the level is just not the same, which is why myself and others, my partners in crime and Barry Nation are so passionate about supporting our community because we want people to find the same success that we have. But we also we got tired of living in the shadows of the medical world and not getting the support that we needed. And, it just, blossomed from there. But that tunnel vision, I think, keeps people limited. And then that all or nothing thinking, right? Thinking like, well, I have to do all the things and it has to be done perfectly. And as soon as I mess up, oh, well, I guess it's just, baby with the bathwater situation. Like, oh, this is never going to work. And you go back to being comfortable, which was doing exactly what you were doing before, which is keeping you in that loop of not making progress.
And, as a coach,
sorry,
I think it's...
Again? Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Siri's listening, Karen.
Thank you, Siri. Can you solve all our problems today?
Yeah. She's trying.
Okay. We got to bring that thought back. Okay. As a coach, I really, really understand the importance of community, the importance of support. And it sounded to me like when you had that epic moment with your friend, it got you out of your space to start thinking a little broader.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get stuck because they're trying to do it on their own.
Oh, yeah.
When in fact, we need help. We all need help. Right? And let's face it, folks, sometimes our family is not the best support system. I mean, hey, case in point, watch 600 Pound Life. I hear it all the time saying, who's feeding these people because they can't get out of their house? Their family are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So although there's, our families love us dearly. And unfortunately, right to our death.
They do.
In a case of like that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of reasons why family have difficulty supporting us because a lot of times when we get the support we need, they don't want to suffer the backlash from us. So there's a lot of dynamics here, okay? Yeah. But when you get yourself into a support system like the Bariatric Nation, or you get yourself a coach, or you join a community group where birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
We all know what we've gone through, what we're going through, and we can support each other and say, hey, we're going to celebrate the smallest of wins because we know that it takes many wins to make a big one.
Yeah.
Right? So what are your thoughts about support?
Oh, I mean, it is the reason that we created Barry Nation. In all of the research that we've done, and the thousands of conversations that we've had with people at this point, it appears that only 30% of people who have had bariatric surgery actually make it publicly known.
Right.
We've talked to men and women who have had major bariatric surgery. So their stomach has been removed. They've been completely replumbed. And they told their loved ones they were going in for hernia repair. because they were so terrified about what would, about the conversation or what would come to be.
Right.
And, one of our favorite bariatric therapists, she's an expert in Bariation. She leads support groups. She's taught class. She's been on the podcast many times. She gave us a line that was so empowering. We have literally crafted our community around it. And what she says often is community is treatment. Laura Grabo said this.
Yeah.
And, if we believe that obesity is a chronic disease, it is going to require treatment for the rest of our lives. And that treatment is going to look different at different stages. Being a part of a community is a part of our lifelong treatment.
Yeah.
And community, right? Because community is that safe place that we can go where people get the basic story. I'm not explaining, I'm not justifying, I'm not like looking for reason. Nope. It's everybody here has been through the exact same thing. Everybody is struggling with the exact same thing. And a community where members are at all of the stages, I believe is even more powerful because the person that's been through it can really help support the people that are going through it. Right.
Yeah.
But then when you're going through something, there are so many people there that you can go to. And what we're always saying in Berry Nation is that, look, we have to share our story because our stories are our own perfect recipes.
Yeah.
And if I don't look at everybody's different recipe, I'm not going to know all of the ingredients that are out there that I could use to make my own perfect recipe.
Yeah.
Right. So like, Daryl, if you're not sharing your story, I don't know about this one piece that I might need from you. I might need this one little section from your recipe and incorporate it into mine. And then boom, I have found the perfect thing for me.
Yeah.
Right. But if the stories aren't out there, we can't really use that Goldilocks approach. We can't see what other people are doing. We can't take it in and we don't know what's out there for us to incorporate into our own recipe.
Yeah.
And to have a safe community where people can share those recipes is a game changer, right? You can finally feel safe. You can feel like you belong. You have this warm and inviting place where it's okay to try and maybe fail and make a mistake, but to know that that's how we find what we have been missing, right? In a recent podcast episode, Jason said, we have to get it wrong to get it right.
Right.
And it's so true. If I don't have a safe place to get it wrong, to try to get it right, I'm never going to even attempt to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And so many people are just out there, I think, on their own, thinking that they're the only one. Absolutely not the case.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're really hoping that even through research, we're going to be able to prove that by joining and participating, being active in a community actually leads to longer and higher rates of success post-op. Right.
Yes.
That it's going to bring down those regain numbers.
Right there.
It is, because that's the one thing that really, these surgical centers and these other places haven't tried. And what makes, I think, Berry Nation so powerful, or what makes any community powerful, is when it has been created by the people living it.
Yes.
Not the surgeons, not the doctors, not the people who think they know what it's like, but the actual people who are living it. Because that experience is very different than the one that's coming from the outside.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Because the reality is, again, bariatric surgery is a tool. Now, April, yourself, myself, Kedrick, many that I've spoken to, we're at ground zero. Our metabolisms have restarted. We're back into just like anyone else in terms of battle of the bulge. I mean, I use MyFitnessPal for over 3 years, and I log all my food, and I can go in there and see my weight coming down. I see bariatric surgery, and wow, what a drop. Okay. Yeah. But then after that, just like everybody else's story, right?
Yes.
So what I've learned so much is mindset is key, because here's the thing. I look at it this way. I love how you brought up people get knee surgery. Nobody says anything bad about that, right?
No.
I think the thing with bariatric surgery is I've heard so many people saying, well, I know somebody, she got it, and she's gained all of her weight back.
Oh, yeah. My second cousin's nephew's school counselor's, secretary had it, and
Well, and there are people who have gained significant weight back, maybe not to the same level as they were before. But any of those people that I've talked to, I've discovered a couple of things. They stopped tracking their food. They stopped journaling. They stopped. You know what?
Oh.
It wasn't a mindset change at the very beginning, and it still isn't now. And they just went back to their same lifestyle. Hey.
Oh, no, Daryl, I got the perfect one-liner for that, right? If we live our life after bariatric surgery as we lived it before, we're going to weigh the exact same. Nothing will change.
Yeah.
If you want to make a change in your life, period, you have to change everything. You cannot expect to keep doing exactly what you're doing and have different results.
Yeah. True.
You just can't, right?
And that doesn't matter whether you have bariatric surgery or not, folks. It's a mindset thing, because I've learned so much in this last 3 years of my journey, things about portion control, the value of food. My goodness, if I would have known that. Okay, I didn't know I was going to get bariatric surgery, so I started doing intermittent fasting, and I'd lost 60 pounds. And hey, I was committed because of things in situations that happened in my life. Now, I know for a fact I would be a lot lighter than I was then had I not gotten surgery, because mindset had already changed.
Yeah.
I am thankful that I got it, because, man, I dipped really quick. And hey, I do it again in a heartbeat. But it's not for everyone. But I have learned this, that, hey, if you're not going to get bariatric surgery, folks, there's hope. It's just a matter of mindset change and discovering all of these things, like, you know, like I said, portion sizes and whatnot. You don't have to have a specific diet to lose weight.
No.
You don't.
No.
You can eat from all the 7 food groups and lose weight.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's what's the scariest for people, is that, you know, for me especially, I resisted bariatric surgery for a while. My biggest fear when it came to bariatric surgery actually was that I was going to change fundamentally as a person, and that my friends and family wouldn't like me anymore. Right. Like, oh, this is going to absolutely change who I am. I can say definitively that is not the case. I'm 2.5 years post-op. But what I can definitively say is that as soon as I start doing the things, or thinking the things, or eating the things that I ate before bariatric surgery, it all is going to come back. And what people, I think, really discount in the change or in the transformation process is the grief that comes with it. Yeah. Because you really do, and you really are mourning what was. You mourn the comfort of how you used to be, because that was familiar. That felt normal, even though it was killing you, or even though it was producing results in your life that you truly did not want. Yeah. It was where you felt the most comfort, and our brains are hardwired to keep us in comfort. Yeah. And when we make the decision to leave the land of comfort forever, right? Yeah. We literally mourn that decision. And if we can't push through, fight through, work through that grief, we're going to go right back to where we were. Yeah. But the hopeful thing that I hope everybody can experience and just know is that if you can fight through it, your new self feels more normal than your old self. I'm 2.5 years post-op. I still don't feel as comfortable in my new life as I remember from my old life. Yeah. But when I start eating things, when I start doing things, when I start thinking things that existed in my old life, it feels icky. It does not feel right anymore. So I'm kind of in this limbo land of, oh my God, nothing feels normal. Yeah. But to me, I would much rather be a little bit uncomfortable and feel better than go back to complete misery and feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Well, listen, April, we're coming to the end of our time here. Oh my goodness, so much to unpack. We could spend a couple hours doing this for sure. But I'd like to leave on a note of going back to your topic again. I can't. Speak into that one last time.
You can. Every time you tell yourself, I can't, add a and say, but I can do this. Mm-hmm. If you can just change your mindset to be hopeful instead of hopeless, your possibilities are endless. And don't think that, right? Just don't think that you have to go like this huge, well, I can do this. No. I can walk 50 extra steps. I can track my food. I can try to stick to a budget, right? You can do things.
Yeah.
Just push yourself to find what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And friends, find a support group. You really, really need that help. We've all had it. We all need it. You know, when I first started this journey, I was by myself, just my wife and I, nobody else. And then I, following Instagram, found Bariatric Nation, different ones. It's been amazing. Anyways, folks, thank you so much, April, for being with us today. April is going to let you know how you can get in contact with her. Okay. So April, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. And Daryl, just thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm honored, and I have thoroughly enjoyed our friendship grow since we connected all those months ago on Instagram. That is truly, Instagram's the absolute best place to get a hold of me. My personal Instagram is actively_April. And then you can also find me at bari.nation if you're a bariatric patient. And we do have a website. It's just www.barination.com. And you can also find our podcast on your major podcast players just by searching for Bari Nation. And we're also on YouTube. Just search Bari Nation. And if you reach out to me through a direct message, I always respond to all of them. And I would be thrilled to connect with you there.
Excellent. And of course, we're going to provide all the links in the chat as well as on our website. Thanks again, April. And thank you, everyone, for watching and being with us today.
Thank you.